the both of you, Floris and yourself, you kind of inspired this. Meeting you guys, you're always surfing, always having so much fun. I'm like, hey, you know what? I like traveling, so I like Drupal, so why not combine the two? So, just a background: I'm from Kenya. I'm from Kenya, Nairobi, Kenya. And Safari is a big thing. I like to travel, not just in Kenya, Africa, and all over the world. And I thought, hey, how about combining the two things I like to do, which is traveling and Drupal, hence Drupal Safari. So the idea originally was to, also promote tourism in Kenya, but also, if you come down to Kenya and, you want to hang out with the Drupal community there, do some workshops or do whatever, that's contribution, right? Win-win for everyone. And that was the initial idea. We've had conversations around doing a road trip across Africa. Maybe not the whole of Africa, maybe sections, Southern Africa, Eastern, Central, and maybe Western. Motorbikes, whatever mode of transport people want to do, get a big, I don't know what those big vans are called, the big trucks and everything, just jump people in there and off we go. I think it would be brilliant. I just think it would be it's one of those once in a lifetime kind of trips. And then it's the two things, well, for me, the two things I love, traveling and then Drupal, hanging out with you and Floris. Why not? I mean, two cool guys, right? Africa is moving. Africa is not the dark continent it was called. Things are changing. Tech is big. There's loads of open source communities. Like off the top of my head, the Ruby, Python, big Android community, big. So yeah, in terms of community, in terms of open source, there's loads and there's loads of talent. There's loads of really hungry people that want to engage and learn and all that. So the people are there, the talent is there. In terms of the size of the community in Kenya, Drupal specifically, there is a Drupal community. It's not the most active, like in most small communities. So this is one of the challenges of just trying to get that momentum, trying to connect people. But the one other thing that really I really struggle with, or I'm really concerned about, is, for example, South Sudan, one of the newest countries in the world, right? There is a Drupal developer in South Sudan, one developer who's super passionate, right? But he can't find his community. What does that mean? Do we just lose that one developer? No. I think if there's two developers in Kenya, if there's three in Uganda, four in Tanzania, you connect them with that one in South Sudan, suddenly you have 10 people. And it might not be the biggest crowd, but you have a group or a community that you could then start growing from. You understand? So, and on that, we have this, this is why we've been working on Drupal Africa. So the whole point of Drupal Africa is to try connect these small local communities spread across Africa. So if you have your one, developer in, I don't know, Eswatini or Lesotho or whatever, right? Connect him with, the couple of developers in Kenya, Uganda, Tanzania, and so on, and just slowly by slowly get the community going. But I'm sure there's more than one in South Sudan. But that was an example. I know there's someone in South Sudan. I want to find them because, again, they have a very active tech community, and I've seen some various open source events out in South Sudan. So why not Drupal? And again, also, I mean, we're here. WordPress. The WordPress community is big. There's a lot of cross engagement between the two. Massive. Yeah. Actually, I'm glad I did some contribution on Motic a while back. So not the biggest of things. I think it was changing the postal code or something to reflect the Kenyan one. So kind of proud of that. And this is from my background is I'm not a developer. I'm a purely end user site builder on Drupal. So yeah. This is my personal opinion on how I see things and based on my engagement with people. A lot of the times when you come to interact with the communities out there, the first thing they kind of drift towards is jobs. Is there a job for me at the end of this? And I'm like, okay, well, definitely there's a job for you, but then you have to be honest with yourself. I'm just not going to come employ you to do Drupal if there's no history of your Drupal activity. Are you a member of the Drupal community? Do you have a D.O account? right? And then you're asking about a job. So you have to help yourself to, to get to that process. So I think for me that's the biggest challenge, the visibility, or there's not a lot of noise made about Drupal, right? So if I have an agency or I'm a developer and I go to a company and I'm telling them Drupal and they haven't been hearing about it, but they're hearing about all these other solutions, it becomes a harder task, right? And then the problem which then comes to that is when it comes to university and courses, which lecturers will be promoting or teaching this stuff if in the market it's not there, it's not being talked about, they're not seeing it in the billboards, they're not seeing it in events. So I think for me it's that whole promotion and creating that buzz and momentum around the community, making it visible and making it out there, put it in putting it in front of people so it's in their minds, it's in their thoughts. And then once you say, hey, you know what, we have this solution, and they already know what you're talking about, and it's half the battle won, in my opinion. My history when it comes to Drupal is I just started a new job, and there was a requirement for to change the website. I don't think we were saying CMS, we just needed a website that held all our pages together. And this is back in 2006, I think. So it was Drupal, I think 4 or 5 or something like that, right? So we went, we implemented Drupal. It was brilliant, management loved it and everything. And then we left Drupal as a company. But personally, I stayed because the community was just brilliant, right? I was learning things like, Git, PHP. My PHP became stronger down the line. I've learned things like Symfony, and then there's all these other projects. You've got your hosting projects, DDev, for example, the developments, local development solution, right? So it's just like through this one thing, Drupal, I've expanded my knowledge on so many other things, right? So for me, it's almost I always I look at Drupal as a learning platform. It's opened me up to so many things, so many people, so many experiences. And I've seen people, start at meetups. Hey, my name is so and so. A couple of years down the line, they own an agency. They've built it through networking, through learning. Um, People have built careers, lifetime friendships through Drupal. So for me, the power of it is that's my sell to a lot of people. I'm like, hey, you know what? There's this thing called Drupal. It can do really amazing things, not just as a solution, but even personally. And yeah, that would be my sell for them. I think when it comes to contribution, one of the things about Drupal, I find it's very welcoming. It opens up all these avenues for contributing. I'm not a code contributor per se. I prefer to organize events, attend events, volunteer at events. But then I know people who are deep in code. I know people who are front end designers, developers, themers. So there's loads of avenue, and it's all thanks to the Drupal community. The way it's welcoming, the way it's diverse, the way it's encouraging, and there's all this conversations around how to push the project further and forward. Um, uh, yeah, just contribute. If you don't know, ask the question. Don't be shy. Ask. Put your hand up. Say, hey, I want to do this. This is my interest. And definitely someone will guide you to it. I'll send you the link to the Drupal Africa. There's a couple of people that I think it's up to 30 people or so just trying to push Drupal, within Africa. We have the same requirements as everyone else. We have governments, we have hospital, we have loads of institutions and everything. So Drupal is definitely required and can be used, can be implemented. I used to be a symphony. I used to be in a few. I don't know if they're communities, but my activity when it comes to things like PHP, I was in the WordPress community for a while. But Drupal is the only one that I just seem to have stuck to. Again, for me, it's this whole learning curve. I seem to get everything I'm interested in within the Drupal community. So I mean, like right now, I was really interested in the whole headless and decoupled, CMS trend, big. So yeah, it's Twig. I looked at the Twig community. If there's a community, the Motic community, that's definitely that is I'm big. I really love that community. It's growing. But then again, there's a lot of Drupal people on there. So you're there, Ruben and everyone. So Drupal does something to people, I guess. I come into the Drupal and then I find everything else. I've recently actually just joined the Drupal Ambassador Committee. So hey, we're looking to promote Drupal. It's out there, go check it out. There's a lot of marketing initiatives and everything. Or just come join me on the Drupal Ambassadors Committee. Um, and then obviously working on the Drupal Africa initiative. So there's a lot of work to be done there. Just try to connect people. Again, if you have friends in and outside of Africa or are connected to Africa, point them in our direction. Encourage. And also, this is another thing. I think as individuals, we all know people from all over the world. In my case, in Africa, who are doing Drupal, and it's if you do get to chat to them, just motivate them, encourage them, tell them there's fellow Drupalers like you out there. Go connect. And I think that helps in creating these small communities we're trying to do. So reach out to your contacts in and outside Africa and point them to us. And yeah, that's what I'm up to. I think the growth and trajectory of Drupal has been impressive. So we can only grow. Bringing Motic into the mix, I think that was brilliant. That was just an inspired, meeting of two good things. I think for me moving forward, certainly this is from a selfish point of view. I really want to see my community grow. From where I'm from, Kenya and Africa. I want to see more uptake. I certainly want to go into. I want to go back, back to high school, back to university, and start, creating a talent pipeline. When they're still, when they're still in high school and young and all that, and introduce Drupal early to them. As far as usage and everything, I want to see more governments. If you kind of think about it, it's there's efficiencies, there's security, there's performance, there's all these benefits of Drupal that again governments can benefit from. Healthcare, institutions, learning. So that is my hope, and I just want to see Drupal get bigger and bigger. In my country, Kenya, we have this the system, the structure of it is there's almost this 47. I hope I got that right. 47 mini governments. They all do the same thing. You provide health, water, all that for the population. So you're looking at 47 different institutions doing their own implementation and stuff. If 5 or 10 of them decided to, hey, we're even maybe just going to use one implementation of, say, Drupal, or we're going to create one and then share amongst the 10 of us, you're not wasting resources and duplicating. This is some of the things I see, Drupal can be used for. So again, we just need to get word out there, create some of these case studies or create, implementations, showcases, showcase what Drupal can do, tell our story, I think it's CMS Gov or the Australian implementation of Drupal. I mean, it works perfectly, works for them. Why can't it work for us? So it's about telling these stories and sharing and hopefully pushing the conversation along. When it comes to Drupal Africa, we're looking at creating a central resource to share all these kind of stories, share these case studies, and then just learn together and build. Drupal Africa, we're out there, push people, encourage people to come join us. And again, you don't have to be in Africa. You could, as long as you're a friend of Africa, you want to just come hear what we're doing. You're all welcome. Coming from, I remember back to Drupal 5 and where we've come to this point, things like API fast approach and all that, brilliant things. I think it's automatic updates coming through, or if that kind of, I tried to update Drupal 6 or 7 site, and yeah, I think I still remember the pain or the experience. But now that's all going to be automated and stuff. So definitely there's growth. If you look at things like the admin UI, which has been a pain. I think it's Claro, I think it's called. Brilliant. You're catching up to more what they're doing front end. Sorry, back end, and then front end, Olivero and all that. Again, brilliant. So in terms of what is it's doing in technically and low code, no code, yeah, you're reaching more people. So it's certainly the best way to go. But then also there's this I don't know how to explain it, but I feel when you're in the content management business, it's like content is distributed everywhere, mobile, websites, other applications and stuff. So you end up in being in this position where, the content manager will always be important per se. You understand? So when you then go into conversations such as headless CMS, you're opening up to so many other front ends, right? Those are so many other communities. I think that by itself, it's just will keep us busy for I don't know how long, right? What they're doing with decoupled menus, trying to get JavaScript, into Drupal and all that. Clearly you can tell I don't understand the actual technicality of it. I kind of understand at a high level, but it's brilliant. We're thinking about all these other communities. So to me, all that is a win, and it's everything we're doing in the right direction. But then suddenly, having that thought for the non-coders, the non-developers, I think that's a big, and that will certainly, pull in a fresh and a new crowd into Drupal, which is good. This is the areas where Drupal has been, at the forefront. Accessibility, just innovation, adding the new things that are in trend. Well, that might sound bad, but in trend in as far as developers and users are asking for them. So definitely Drupal has, it's led the way and shown the light for a lot of other projects to follow. So let's just keep building on that. We've been using Jitsi Meet on Drupal Africa, so that was good. So when it comes to in terms of a platform that was available to us and it's worked perfectly, we've held a couple of meetings. That's good. Cost wise, that's always beneficial for us. So that's brilliant. What you guys are doing for Contribution Day, I think again, this is very impressive. I think the concept of recording and people coming in to watch at their own time, that's the way I understood it. And then the replays and everything, brilliant. We're all, I'm based at home, but I have a full day, I have a full working day, or I had a plumber today, so he was just making all sorts of noise. So the flexibility to then come in, I don't want to miss any of your content, so I know it'll be there. I'll come in and I'll still feel engaged and active. I think that's commendable. I think well done, guys. So good job. And I'm looking forward to just catching up, watching all these interviews and everything, and all the resources that you guys are going to share. It's again more learning for me, which is brilliant.